Alright everyone, for this week's video I decided that we were going to do something kind of similar to last week, but not as, not as horrible as I guess BuzzFeed quizzes can be. So this week we are going to take a look at coffee-related recipes. Alright, so my issue with looking for recipes online is that a lot of them are just these kind of crappy blog posts that are basically like, well, here's my 5,000 word story about how I decided that it would be a good idea to make make a piece of chicken coated in coffee grounds. By the way, don't try that. Go watch the video on and you'll understand why. The chicken is just a vehicle for the coffee grounds, and it adds no real substance to it. It's just disgusting and tastes like a clump of wet coffee grounds. Sorry, tumbling over my words here. But hey, we're doing great, aren't we? So let's go ahead and look at this. The 23 delicious food recipes with coffee grounds. Cafe mocha cookies. Okay, you have my interest. I see chocolate. Find the recipe here. You know what? Let's just go through this list of different recipes, and then, depending on our time we have left, we can decide whether or not we're gonna dive a little deeper. Coffee sugar cookies. Okay. I feel like these would be good. Okay, first of all, I suppose I should mention, these have my attention mostly because of the chocolate chips, not because of the coffee, but hey, could be good. The sugar cookies, I'm a big sugar cookie person, like, they're barely second compared to chocolate chip. Sometimes I will say that I have two favorites, and, no sugar cookies is one of them. So these are some that I'd be willing to give a try to. I'm really not that bad about not trying, desserts, I suppose. As for other things, that's a whole different story, but we'll get to that when we come to it. Coffee rubbed steak. Well, I can tell you that coffee rubbed chicken isn't that great, but maybe, I guess I can't really talk badly about a coffee rubbed steak, because when I was in Indy for an interview, or not really an interview, but for part of an interview day with an accounting firm that I actually got an internship at, they took us to a burger place in Indy. Oh, what was it called? Burger. I know I can find it for a fact. There it is, Burger Study. So yeah, we went to the Burger Study. Really good restaurant. They actually had a coffee rubbed burger that I tried for, I figured that I could get some content out of it, so here it is. It was really good as a breakfast burger because it came with like a fried egg and bacon on it, so it just really kind of had that whole medley going for it. It was a little strong for me, but in all reality, what can you do? It's coffee grounds that are, kind of seared into the burger. Maybe that would make better chicken, is if you were to actually grill it compared to air frying it. Because the issue with grilling it was that there was no real char to it. And I think that the nice thing about the burger was that the coffee taste really mixed well with that char taste that the burger had. The chicken didn't have that, so you just had that overpowering coffee. Moving on, after a very long, drawn-out talk about why the steak is probably pretty good. Coffee chocolate brownie recipe. Again, something I'm definitely willing to try. I'm amazed I don't bleed chocolate at this point. Decadent mocha muffins. Wish there was a picture for those. That's unfortunate. Tasty all-purpose coffee rub. I don't know. I'm not a huge onion person, and this is mentioning, Puffs with Chopsticks created an all-purpose coffee rub that can be used on protein sprinkled on veggies. When you toss them on the grill and more, you get a wonderful mix of flavors like onion, garlic, and is light in sugar. So my thing is, I'm not a huge onion person, so if they're saying that's a prevalent flavor, I'm more apt to not even try that. As bad as that sounds, I just never found anything that's very heavily onion flavored that I like. Coffee rub crusted pork roast. Man, people are really making this whole coffee, like, I guess, crusting or breading on meat look easy. I made it look pretty dang bad. It not only gives the roast a delicious taste, but it also makes a nice, slightly crunchy texture on it as well. Again, and it's also on the steak over here. My issue with this is, and I think it could just come from my perspective on coffee, I'm not a huge coffee person, so why do I want my meat to taste like coffee, Again, I know I said the burger from Burger Study was good, so I'm probably contradicting myself to a lot of you, but at the same time, I really like breakfast burgers, so I think that kind of elevated that. But I just feel like you're losing a lot of the meat here with both of these, with the crusted pork roast and the crusted steak, just because, I mean, all that's really touching your taste buds is maybe some juice from the pork, but really just that coffee ground. So if you really love the taste of coffee, definitely these would be some for you. But as someone who's not a huge fan and really just prefers the taste of the meat, I don't think that I would ever try either one of these. Gluten-free coffee granola. Healthy coffee recipe. Take the dairy and gluten-free granola that's perfect mix in with your yogurt. Not a fan of yogurt, you can also pour a little milk over your granola and get a healthy cereal alternative. Not a huge granola person. I mean, I'll eat granola bars, but as for just granola in a bowl, that's never really been something that I've been big into, but as someone who's looking for healthier food alternatives, this might be something that I end up trying. Savory mocha rubbed grilled chicken. Well, someone did it, and they made it work better than I did. It's kind of tragic. I'm assuming that, looking back on it, we're going to click. I know I said we were going to go through all of these, but I'm curious of what's in this rub. Let's see. See, this is my issue, is that it doesn't just give you a damn recipe, it gives you a whole story based around it, and it irritates me. Paprika, chili powder, garlic powder, sea salt, cumin, pepper, coffee. Okay, so that explains a lot. This is basically a barbecue rub. Because, or I mean, I guess maybe not necessarily a barbecue rub, but that's what I'm kind of reading it as. Look at how much coffee ground is in this compared to everything else that goes into that rub. Maybe if I was actually an intelligent individual and had made like an actual rub that had different things to it, then that chicken would have turned out better. It's a shame because I wasted a really good piece of chicken on that recipe. Soft chocolate chip mocha cookies. Again, something I would definitely try just because of my obsession with chocolate. And again, I think that chocolate pairs really well with coffee flavor. That's why I'm a huge Frappuccino person, is because I just think that having like a mocha or even just a chocolate chip Frappuccino, I think that the hint of coffee kind of mixed in with that chocolate taste is really good, and I think that taste would translate really well to, a cookie or a brownie or a cake. Excuse me, taking a quick drink. Satisfying espresso chocolate chunk brownies. Well, again, at this point we're just kind of repeating ourselves, because if we go up just a few recipes, we have, well, no, I thought I read chocolate chip, but these are basically the same thing. It's just two separate recipes, which, I get it. I can already hear you in the comments. There's a difference between recipes, different recipes taste different. I get that. I completely get that. And, I mean, I guess that I'd be asking for a lot for this to be 23 completely different, items, but come on now, this is basically the same thing that we saw up above. Coffee cake muffins with ground coffee. Coffee cake muffin mix that uses ground coffee in it with ingredients like brown sugar, vanilla, and buttermilk. It's a great option to enjoy a savory coffee flavor, but in cake form. I'd try it. I don't know. I don't know why. It looks good. As kind of a mess as it looks like, that's the point, and I kind of like that. I like food that is, you know, it's very upfront about how it's supposed to be eaten. And clearly this is supposed to be a mess when you eat it, but I'd try it, 100%. There's no way that I wouldn't. Coffee rubbed turkey burgers. Again, I already talked about the burger and how I thought that it was really good. Turkish shortbread cookies. Rich and buttery Turkish shortbread cookies. Cardamom and coffee in every bite. You know, again, something I'd totally be down to try. I like cookies. However, this one, I don't know if I'd want to make the full batch of it. I'd probably reduce it down just to try it, but I've never been a shortbread person. As I know I'm sounding super picky, and in all reality, it's because I am, in fact, super picky. So, I guess really just bear with me, you know? I mean, coffee avoider here, what'd you really expect? Coffee rub for steaks. I'm just going to kind of skip over this one since we've already seen some different rubs. Gooey almond butter espresso bars. Okay, my issue with this is, and I 100% know this is meant to be, it's meant to be a power word in your title to draw people to it. However, I always hate seeing this word in like names just because ooey gooey and gooey and stuff like that, it just irritates me because I don't know, I just for whatever reason I just find the word to be childish and it irritates me when I see it in like context like that, especially because if these don't come out to be gooey, I'm going to be pissed about it because come on, your title. Espresso macaroon muffins. Again, I'd probably try it. This would probably be a little lower on my list just because um I guess muffins aren't really one of my top tier desserts. I know shocker something that I'm not a huge fan of. But you know, if I had a choice between a cookie or a coffee cake and a muffin, I'm gonna take the cookie. Coffee roasted sweet potato fries. What? What is this? Oh, well, that recipe can't be found. Come on. Give me a break. Sorry, guys. Did not expect that to happen. Well, I guess we're not going to see anything about the coffee roasted sweet potato fries. Take sweet potato fries that have a coffee seasoning, so I'm assuming that it's basically like what this is. Maybe a little less barbecue flavor, because I feel like a lot of coffee rubs with the different spices in them kind of push more towards a barbecue flavor. Probably just less of a barbecue flavor, and then drizzle it with melted chocolate for a sweet indulgence. I don't like sweet potatoes. I'm just going to be very upfront about that. I do not like sweet potatoes. I don't think that this sounds good at all. I also don't understand how you'd take sweet potatoes that you have roasted with coffee and decide, yeah, we'll drizzle it with melted chocolate. That sounds like something that people would be interested in. That doesn't make sense to me. Cookies and cream coffee ice cream, no churn. I think we'll come back and look at that recipe here in a sec. Chocolate dipped coffee shortbread cookies. Been over this with the other chocolate dipped shortbread cookies that I'm not a huge shortbread person, but I'd probably try it. Scones, coffee, bacon, and dates. Never had dates, so that might be something interesting, but I don't know. Never had a scone before, so maybe this would be a good place to start. Not sure how that combination of coffee, bacon, and dates sounds to me, but maybe. Coffee chocolate glazed donuts. So I'm assuming the way that I look at this is it's probably a coffee donut. So it's like you're making a coffee cake, but you know, a lighter one, then dipping it in chocolate, or you know, glazing it and then dipping it in chocolate for the icing or the topping, whatever you want to call it. I'm interested in this ice cream. Coffee, cookies and cream, ice cream. With Folgers, ooh, getting bougie here with the name brand coffee. Slow down. Instant coffee, hot water, sweetened condensed milk, heavy cream, Oreos. It's a very short list. Heat a small amount of water to boiling in a small bowl. Combine 4 teaspoons of Folgers coffee in the boiling water. Mix, cool. Blah, 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 blah. I'd honestly make this. That's a few enough ingredients. it seems cheap enough. It's a 15-minute recipe for ice cream. I mean, guys, I think we'd all be stupid for not even considering trying to make this, but that's just me. Well, it looks like we're at about time right now. Sorry we didn't get through more. It's just, there was a lot to unpack here, and I feel like kind of giving the context behind that burger really helped kind of cement that while a coffee rub can be a good thing, a coffee crusting I don't think is a good idea. And yeah, I guess we found out what my mistake was in not even attempting to make that coffee or that coffee rub edible. It was literally just coffee for, I guess more of a meme than anything, but hey, I guess I will talk to you all next time. I guess, yeah, keep enjoying, avoiding, trying coffee, do whatever you want, man. I mean, it's your experience, your tastes. Alright, and that's it for me, signing off.